I thought that it would be better if I get all these ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga's cabin with the handcart. Ja, bleibt dann nur das Letzte, ne? I feel like I've visited the infirmary too often recently. But what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of sing-song accent. Ugh. Good afternoon. Olga has sent me to get some... I hesitated slightly. Yeast. Also Hefe. Ich glaube Hefe. Ja, dürfte Hefe sein. Ah, sure. She gave me a broad smile. It's just that I don't have any. Pioneer. How so? She said that. Well, I had some, but now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be some use to me, actually. Where do I get it then? I sighed. Take this. She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. I took a closer look. Ostankinskoye was a well-known brand of cheap beer in USSR. It was Ostankinskoye beer. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Sorry. Nobody will even notice. She had a point, but everything just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay then. The bottle clearly wouldn't fit into my pocket of my shorts. Well, thanks. I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast. Replace yeast. Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. But generally, walking around with a bottle in my hands looked like a silly idea to me, so I decided to bring it to Olga's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid a bottle under my shirt. And everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. Was mit der Musik los? Jesus. How's it going? What exactly? You search for ingredients. Ah, so you know already. Yes, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going alright. I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. And what do you have there? She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. This. She got me. It's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was also almost running, leaving the square with a puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she's one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in this camp who like nothing better than poke their noses into other people's business. Passing the pioneer cabins, I stumbled upon Uljana. Oh Mann. Die geht doch bestimmt irgendwann mal steil auf so 2 Liter Lightbier Plastikflaschen, oder? Könnte ich ihr zutrauen. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. Cheeky breeky! I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher officer bearing a message to the headquarters. That's certainly a big message. I was carrying the bottle at waist height, so I was slightly embarrassed. You want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything, nor try to pursue me. There was nobody at Olga's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would ever worry that much about a single bottle of beer. Like I was back in high school. It's a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I claim that it's not mine. I could always think up of a suitable excuse for my enormous experience. Finally, it seems that everything had been collected. I took the handcart with sugar outside and put the sack with the flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberries that somehow fitted in between. And the beer was hidden under my shirt, just in case. The day was coming to its end, and so I had to hurry, as cake itself will need some time to bake. Of course, I would rather enjoy lying down, closing my eyes and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga down. Indeed, after the trouble I'd gone to, I even felt personally responsible for the success of this event. Coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the car that was heavy. It ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now. Both a physical and mental one. I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was. Probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interest in an unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for cake. Do you like cakes? I don't know. What, you've never tried cake? I don't know. Obviously the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at the moment. I really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. I see. Come down to the canteen later and have a bite. Really? Really. And what are they made of? What? I asked indifferently. These. Cakes. Well, some flour, some sugar, various fillings. Now that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yes, sort of. And sugar? And sugar. Could you lend me a little? What for? I thought it was over the top. A sudden gust of wine made me grab the card instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was here. Or there. Am I daydreaming? I noticed, though, that the sugar sack was untied, and a small heap of it was poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. Es war wohl wieder das Katzenmädchen. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder, dinner was still an hour away. I brought a handcart to the rear exit and handed the foodstuffs to the camp cook. She must have already been told what to do with them, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Hi! Mika was standing before me. Yeah. I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me, I must have interrupted you. No problem. I was just sitting here. Ah, alright then. Mika beamed with a smile. I was just coming to diner. I thought that it's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early. But I decided to check just in case. Maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is. Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken. It's just that that I misread it. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great then. I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Frankly speaking, I do mind. You know, I have some matters to attend to. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Miku as I always did, while screaming something after me. Arme Miku. A minute later I got to the square and sat on a bench with the firm intention to find a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. I think this is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but indeed I was really angry. I've completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out of here. Or how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid tasks given by our camp leader, and it's always me who gets into the stupid situations, and sometimes even ends up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or plot of a universal mind, they better consult with their psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. The most annoying thing is that everything that happens seems to happen by itself somehow. I would be happier not have to carry around big bags of sugar that weigh a ton, but I had no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. Who are you angry with? And smiled slyly. Das ist kein slyly smile. Nobody, really. I answered absently. But my fists gave me away. Just like that. Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me, why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to, I replied reluctantly. I guess it was food. Maybe it was. Ayana was about to say something, but at that moment the bell rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. I sighed in a relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Uliana behind. Semyon, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Ah, sure. It was at that exact moment that I understood the true meaning of the saying, keep your fangs to feed your cat. Was? Hab ich nie gehört. You didn't tell anybody? This ought to be a surprise. Yeah. That's my boy. And now off you go to diner. Olga waved a hand, pointing at the canteen. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. It turned out there were plenty today, so I got the chance to eat alone. There was fish with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again, I'll be left half hungry. And didn't we have fish for lunch? Is it a fish-only day today? Having pushed my plate with the fried sea trailer away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon somebody came up to the table. Hey, are you alright? I'm fine. I replied without changing my position. Just tired? Yeah, a little. That's bad. Slava said it seriously. Of course. You remember that we are going for a hike after dinner, don't you? Have you prepared everything? What? Where? I opened my eyes and lifted my head up instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia. The hike! She was surprised. Didn't you know? No. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. If only I could sink into the ground right away. The girls remained silent. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of dinner time, but a strong voice of Olga was heard from the opposite end of the canteen. Guys! To celebrate the ihr wisst schon, rescue of our friend and comrade Shurik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly and looked towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneers' backs. A second, just a second. And nothing about me. Nothing about me rescuing Shurik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader. Let's go, or we won't get our share. Slavia smiled. Let's go. Lena agreed. Yeah, sure. I got up reluctantly and tagged along behind the girls. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga was just putting the cake in the center of the table. And now... Dieses Bild. Hier sehen wir, wie Uljana heftig von hinten genommen wird. The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Uljana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. She managed to nibble it a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from the outside at all this drama. Alisa smiling, Lena picking up some certain cream with her finger, all the furious pioneers around. Unser Gesicht einfach nur so, Scheiß auf alles! I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again, here I am, back to safety of my apartment in front of a computer. I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and the confusion became sharper. Oh Yana, that's the limit! I just... Well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top even for her. Sure, it broke into the conversation. Or is it a court-martial? Please, Olga, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Uljana. And you. Today, I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent, so you behave next time. Ah, whatever. She snorted and turned back. You won't be going to on the hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than be willing to switch places with Uljana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I have guessed beforehand, I would have been the first one to go berserk and smash the damn keg. After a couple of minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too. There'll be a lineup at the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally, but it seemed that I have failed. Don't be late. Uljana was sitting at the table when I approached her on my way to the exit. So, why did you do it? She looked very upset. But she had the right to be so. I wanted to. Uljana replied abruptly. So, you happy now? Of course I am. And you. Good luck with the hiking. She smiled mischievously, sprang up and rushed out of the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Walk and you shall reach. It was exactly this proverb that ich kann nicht mehr lesen. That kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I was sick, or to just skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness. Although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I arrived at camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there, although it was about 10 minutes before the time Olga had designated. I settled down near the edge and waited patiently. Night was falling. If viewed from the outside, what a fairly commotional picture we would make. A crowd of pioneers lined up out of sheer habit, like they were awaiting a silent command from the bronze Genda. And all this happening in the scarlet rays of the sunset. And there he is, waving his hand and screaming, "Attack!" as roaring soldiers with red neckerchiefs charged into battle against some ghostly enemy. But Olga showed up and started to talk instead of Genda. "It seems everybody's here. Great!" I was so tired today that I couldn't even think about anything, so ended up listening to the camp leader. "Now, today we'll go hiking. It is essential for every pioneer to be able to come and rescue his comrade, to offer a helping hand in the hour of need, saving them from hopeless situation. We have to learn to do all these things together." A whisper that ran through the pioneer crowd suggested that most probably this truly epic expedition would end in a clearing in the forest, several hundred feet away from the square. Somehow I thought so too. We'll walk in pairs, so if you haven't chosen a partner for yourself yet, now's the right time to do so. Pioneers quickly caught on to the idea and started to match in pairs. It looked like I was the only one without a partner. Slavia was enthusiastically discussing something with Olga, Lena was with Miku, Electronic was, of course, with Shurik. Well, it might be not a bad idea to go alone after all. "Semyon!" The voice of the camp leader pulled me out of my thoughts. I went up to her reluctantly. "I see that you haven't found a partner." "Seems like it." "Then you'll join Senya. She's alone too." I was struck with that special kind of despair that only a true loner can experience. Oh man. So it appears that I'm left with the prickly librarian that I would risk spending a couple of hours with even if I was paid for it. Although we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approached Senya. "Well, I guess we'll be going together." She looked up at me. "Don't even think that I'm glad," said Senya seriously. "Why on earth should I feel glad?" I asked naively. Never mind. It will be much better if you just shut up." Nah, it couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. I still haven't seen any special reasons to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking on the well-trodden forest trails, and it would be quite difficult to get lost here even if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing into the depths of the forest, trying to face all the dangers that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead we're just walking around in circles. However, if we take into account that Olga was our chief, This hike could be compared to a hobbit's march from the Shire to Mordor. Just as Senya insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. The librarian seemed to be perfectly okay with it. Hey, don't you think when we'll... Don't you know when we'll reach our destination? Our what? The place where we'll settle down and set up a camp. The whole point of this hike isn't to set up a camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it. Yeah, it seems that I didn't understand a thing about hiking. I guess you're right, but still. I don't know. She replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, Listen, why are you always so... I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so... what? Always... well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me? Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, cut that stupidity out already. As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. At last, Olga decided to end this Sisyphean toil. Keine Ahnung, was das heißt. It's time to halt. The place chosen turned out to be a quite large glade with a few tree trunks laid in half circle to make an improvised arbor, with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to get a fire together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their places on the fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only things missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminium cups of vodka, and a guitar. Sind wir ein Stalker? But I wouldn't be surprised if these would appear somehow. What are you thinking about? Slavia sat next to me. Oh, nothing special. Just enjoy the hike. I answered sarcastically. You don't look too happy. Well, I'm not about to jump for joy, sorry about that. Okay, I won't disturb you. She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I wasn't in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible, but I was being surrounded by smoke and a useless chat of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering and laughing, and in general enjoying the warm summer evening. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Alisa intensely, and Lena seemed like complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Electronic and Shurk were trying furiously to prove something to Olga. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here.